Hey, what is up, guys? So I'm having so much fun right now, and I've definitely fallen in love all over again. One thing I love about Yu-Gi-Oh is there's just too many decks out there, and you can never not, you can never settle with just one. So today I'm coming at you guys with the cubic deck profile, and I'm just loving this deck. I've been enjoying it. It's so much fun, and there's so many crazy combos that I figured out, and just man, I'm pretty sure it's gonna get better and better. The longer I play with them. But let's go. And I finally improved my camera, guys. Like, the quality is just a lot better, and I did just want to do that just because this ultra rare, I've never seen an ultra rare like this glossy. I just love it. So let's hop right in this. We have triple seed. So seed, of course, you have to have him at 3. There's too many combos that revolve around him. This is just a combo deck. Like, there's even ladders. Like, you can go your lineage of kings up until your emperor and your lord, and you can go beasts all the way up into the behemoth. There's just so many combos, and he's also one of the combos for your cubic karma to have your opponent's life points. He's just really, really powerful, and a majority of your your mini powered cubics, like your Guerra Gaio, your Blade Gorioto, etc. They have to get out V-Jam from the grave. My favorite ones, honestly, are Behemoth and Emperor, of course, and they get any cubics from your grave, but he's like the core of the deck, pretty much. He's like, Iron Core for Kwakimaras. You gotta have him, so, dedicate a portion of your deck for him. And next up we have, now we're going into the royalty lineage, and we've got 3 Garagaya, the king, the cubic king, and this guy is pretty awesome. I definitely prefer the kings over the beasts at a high ratio because the king's effect, they just have to battle, whereas the beasts, they have to destroy a monster by battle, which is a little bit more difficult to pull off, like it's just, you have to build up their stats, which, you can pull that off with cubic wave, but I just really prefer the kings because it's when they battle, so, you can put cubic counters on stuff, make their attacks 0, make triggered off that way. You can switch them to defense with Quaking Mirror Force. But either way, his effect's a lot easier to get off, and he'll just give you 2 seeds, and then he'll climb up the ladder. One thing I love about their effects is, basically, once you resolve the cost, they're going to send themselves to the grave, they're going to special summon some cubics from the grave, and climb up the ladder. So the next level king, meaning basically just ranks, the next level king from Gear Gaia is Vulcan Dragny, I believe Vulcan Dragny, and if you notice, Gaia will get out 2 cubics from the grave, and he'll search out your Gaia, which is the king searches for the kings, which I like. It's just a royalty, and it's a ladder too. It's a line of royalty, and it's a ladder. So king will then search the bigger king, and this king requires 2 cubics to summon. So you can just like normal summon your V-Jam, get out this king, and when this king dies, you'll get 2, and you'll also search him, and you'll have 2 on board to get him out, so it's a perfect setup. And the same thing with king, he'll get 1600 attack, so it's basically double your mini king, which is a lot better, and whenever he battles, you'll send him to grave, and you can get up to 3 V-Jams from your grave. And then, once you special summon those, you can search for your emperor. So it's like a royalty line. Like, you go from king to emperor, which I do like. And it's a ladder. You gotta climb your ladder to get to your beastie guys. And emperor, Ingiori Doomvort, the cubic emperor. This guy is my favorite one. I really love this guy. Behemoth has higher attack stats, but it's just something about this guy that just really stands out to me. I really, really love this guy. And he's going to come out at 2400. It requires 3 cubic monsters to send to the grave to get him out. So you definitely don't want to run him at 3 so he doesn't clog, but 2 is the perfect ratio. And you'll basically, after you resolved your king, you're set up to get him out. And what I love about this guy is not his effect to burn for 800 or that he comes out at 2400. It's whenever he's sent from the field to the graveyard by battle or by card effect from your opponent, he floats. You get 3 cubic monsters, and you can search a cubic card from your deck to your grave. And that's so abusive because if you have an Emperor in grave and say like a Behemoth, when he dies, you can get out Emperor and Behemoth, and the Emperor that you get out from your graveyard from off his effect when he dies, if that Emperor gets sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 3 cubics from your grave. So I'll give you an example right here. So let's say you've got 2 behemoths in grave, right? And 1 cubic emperor. So your emperor dies. You can special summon these 3 guys. And if this guy dies, you're going to special summon 3 from your grave. And you're going to search. Their effects when they leave the field, that is not when they're summoned. So you don't have to successfully summon them the way they're meant to be. Like, you don't have to send 3 cubics from the field to the grave and get them on the field. to use his float effect. Their effects when the card that you control is destroyed, that is the effect that I abuse the most. You don't have to summon them the right way for you to get that effect off. So if your Cubic Emperor dies and you bring out these 3 guys, whenever one of them dies, you'll get to search and bring out 3 more Cubics from your grave. So it's not just a snowball effect that keeps your hand filled, but it is a flooding the field, and it's just so good. It's so consistent, and it protects your life points, and it just keeps you. Basically, once you get this set up, you'll always have Cubics to pay your costs. You'll always control Cubic monsters, and you'll always be able to special summon your guys. So your Emperor and your Behemoth will get you that setup, but I definitely will say you have to climb up the ladder first. So you've got to use your Emperor right. You've got to basically start from Baby King, go all the way up to the Big King, and then from Big King, go to Emperor. And if you do it the right way, you'll have a consistent flooding field of Cubic monsters, and you'll continue searching with his effect and Behemoth's effect. And say you have a Cubic Dark, Dark Lord Nova in your grave, you can get him from your grave to your hand with your Emperor or your Behemoth. So good. And the final line of royalty, we've got Kings, Emperor, and of course the Lord. 3 Nova, Crimson Nova. This guy is pretty insane. Like, he's got the Priestess effect where you reveal 3 Cubic cards with different names and you get him right out. And he's pretty awesome, you know, he's at 3,000. He's kind of like a pseudo Towers, you know, he's unaffected by anything that has 3,000 or less attack. The thing I really love is that at our end phase, well, at my end phase, we both take 3,000 damage. So that's so cool because he can attack twice if he kills a monster. So he can potentially do up to 6,000 damage already. Let's say he only did, you know, 3,000 damage to your opponent. During your end phase, that's another 3,000. That's 6,000. That's a lot of damage. So he can OTK all by himself. I will say sometimes I don't want to leave him on field for his end phase effect because, you know, I don't want to pay life points sometimes unless, of course, you have Trinity, whereas the life points affect the effect damage that you would take. Instead, it gets inflicted to your opponent. So basically, during your end phase, your opponent takes 6,000 instead of 3,000. That's awesome, but if you don't have the right setup, basically, you know, you're going to either send this guy to the grave for another Cubic effect or just overlay him into a rank 10, which, you know, you can do that. So that's it for the royalty. And then we've got the beasts, starting with Dark Garnex. This guy is just like Yeragayo. It requires 1 to get out. He'll be at 1,000 attack, and if he does destroy a monster by battle, he can get 2 seeds, and he can climb up the ladder to another beast. Now, his effect is a lot easier to get off with Cubic Wave or Cubic Karma, which, you know, beats him up pretty high. And we've got the next beast, which, you know, you just climb up the ladder. Each one searches for the more powerful version, and also gives you the Cubic monsters you need to get that one out. So it's pretty cool. Like, he'll get you 2 monsters, and he'll get the next beast, and the next beast does require 2 monsters, so it's a perfect setup. And this beast, he'll come out at 2,000. He can attack twice, and if he destroys a monster by battle, you can special summon up to 3 Vijams instead of 2, and then you search your Behemoth. You climb all the way up the ladder to the most powerful one, which is Behemoth. And this guy is crazy. He requires 3 just like Emperor, but he'll come at 3,000 attack, and he can attack 3 times, which, you know, that's no big deal. And also, the same thing as Emperor, whenever he's sent to the grave by my opponent by battle or card effect, I can special summon 3 Cubic monsters and search a Cubic card from my deck or my graveyard to hand. And that is so abusive because if you use Behemoth's effect when he dies to special another Behemoth from grave and he dies, you can still use his effect when he's destroyed. He might not have 3,000 attack and can't attack 3 times, but when he dies, he'll float and get you 3 fresh monsters and a search. So it's just like, man, it's so freaking good. It's so fun. I love it, love it, love it. This deck is fun. We're getting to spells now of triple Twin Twisters. I will say, if you got Twin Twisters, run it in this deck because this is a deck where you need to discard sometimes. Like, there's a lot of good stuff like Karma, Cubic Wave, and Cubic Unification of the Cubic Lords. You want those engraved so you can do their effects by banishing. So Twin Twisters can actually give you a plus. Like, if you do Twin Twisters, discard Karma. Destroy 2, you can use Karma and then search a Cubic monster. So Twin Twisters is actually pretty cool in this deck. And also, you really don't want to get hurt by back row because this is a very, very delicate playstyle. And just like one trap can throw you off. And next up, we've got Triple Pot of Duality. So Pot of Duality is here so you can see Vijam faster. If you want to see Crimson Nova faster. If you just, you know, you're looking for that specific card like Cubic Karma, or you're looking for Unification or even Wave. You know, it's awesome. And although it will restrict you from special summoning, the way to play smart is if you know you're going to special summon, you might want to save it. But also at the same time, if there's a card that you really need, you might just want to hold off on your special summon because V-Jom can really hold you down until then. So this is really, really awesome. I feel Pot of Duality should be ran in cubics. It's a really good card. And of course we have 3 cubic Karma, no less than 3. I mean, come on now guys. If you got your V-Joms engraved, if you play this on anything like your cubic beast, your Dark Garnex, your Blade Goriata, if you play it on Nova, you know, if you play it on your Emperor, any of your kings, dude, it doesn't even matter. Like the attack bonus, yeah, that's cool, gaining 800, that is pretty awesome. You know, you can get your effects off easier. But the thing is, V-Joms are in the grave now. So if any of your cubics that aren't Crimson Nova die, they're going to get V-Joms from grave. And as soon as V-Jom comes from grave, that is by cubic effect, so you're going to half your opponent's life points. That will just put the pressure on, does your opponent really want to attack your monster? And then he'll get out V-Jom, half your life points, and then get a search. Do you really want to do that? And I'm not talking the search off of Karma, I'm talking about the search. Whenever a cubic resolves their effect, you get to search. It's just so good, it's so consistent. And of course Karma, you banish it from the grave and you can get your search off. So Karma is just such a powerful card. Like, oh my goodness. Even if you play it and your opponent Twin Twisters, he might want to do that because you can search off of it. And we have triple cubic wave, man. And no cubic effect is once per turn, so this stacks. For example, if you have Behemoth or Crimson Nova, that's very scary. From 3,000 to 6,000, from 6,000 to 12,000. I've never gotten my cubics up to 24, but I have had a Nova at 12,000, which is pretty freaking awesome. Just one attack can end the game, you know, he can attack twice. But this, it just stacks on anything. Even if you brought out, like, for example, your Blade Goriota, he goes from 16 to 32. That's freaking huge. Or for your Beast, for example, like Dark Garnex, he's really low, and for him to be able to resolve his effect to destroy a monster by battle, you can use this to give him the boost so that he can get the firepower to do so. And you can also banish this from grave, distribute cubic counters depending on the number of cubic monsters you banish alongside with this. So this spell is pretty freaking awesome. Next up, we've got triple unification. This is the only thing I run to get out Crimson Nova. Majority of the time, I just get it engraved so that I can banish it and bring out my Emperor or my Behemoth from deck. They might have 0 attack and 0 defense, but again, like I said earlier, if they get sent to the grave by my opponent's card effect or battle, I can special summon 3 from grave and search any cubic card I want from deck or grave. So I can just get this right back from my graveyard if I want. It's pretty awesome. And there will be a time when you actually use this for fusing, but because it's a trap, you know, it's a little slower. So this is not Crimson Nova Trinity like Turbo. This is just cubics. I mean, guys, they do well when they're just a pure cubic build. I'm telling you, it's awesome. We have triple quaking. Of course, it's very possible to still make this guy. Don't think that it's not possible. You can get it off pretty easy. If you just get your setup right and search the right cards, you can get this guy pretty easy. So triple quaking, this is here because it sets the guys in defense, which makes it a lot easier for stuff like the beasts. Both of my beasts have to destroy a monster by battle to get their effect off. And it also helps my kings, because the kings, they just have to do battle. So you can attack a defense monster and it'll be fine. You know, even if the defense monster doesn't die, he already did battle, so then you can do his effect. So triple quaking, of course, is awesome. And this is something I was thinking about 3, but it's just a little too situational. But double cubic rebirth. The reason why this is at 2 and I was considering 3 is it gives, if you don't, of course you have to choose wisely not to give something your opponent can XYZ with, but if you get it off right, you basically get 3 free monsters to just play around with. They'll have 0 attack, and their effects are negated. They can attack, just like V-Jom. He'll get the monster with 0 attack. 0 attack monsters are so good for this deck because any of your cubics can get their effects off on those monsters. So they're basically like free food for my stuff. Like, you know, Behemoth can do tons of damage, or you can just do this beast right here, Blade Goriota, and he can just attack right over them, resolving his effect a lot easier because he has to kill a monster by battle. So it's pretty cool, you know, Cubic Rebirth basically gives you 3 free ammunitions for your effects. While, you know, your opponent does get 3 monsters on his field, they can't do anything. And if you do it right, they really can't do anything because they won't be able to XYZ. So it is situational, but when you resolve this right, you will get 3 free monsters to resolve your effects off, which is freaking awesome. Like, you're going to have so much fun playing this deck. And 1 mandala. It's very similar. It'll give your opponent a bunch of monsters that can't do anything, and of course, as long as they're on the field, you can't activate effects. I just don't like the situational cost, but it's still there for that one situation, you know, and it's pretty cool when you get it off. Because like all your cubics, they can get their effects off a lot easier. Because I will say, if it's not Crimson Nova, if it's not Emperor or Behemoth, they have to do battle. They have to do battle. And wouldn't you rather your stuff be doing battle with monsters with 0 attack and negated effects? It's a lot easier and safer. And for extra deck, not very much. Triple Trinity, of course, this guy is freaking insane. Like, he's just, what the heck? Where'd he come from? How does he exist? But he's that powerful, you know. Attack half, and, you know, anything that you would take, your opponent takes it instead. So if you have your Crimson Nova Lord, if you just have the regular Lord on the field, the 3,000 you would take, your opponent takes that, and the 3,000 he's supposed to take, which is just crazy. So this fusion is ridiculous. And then we've got the Ring 10s for Crimson Nova, of course. And that's it so far. Tell me what you guys think. I think